Here in London, we have finally hit chilly weather, but pretty much only this weekend. So last week, it was still kind of warm, still odd weather. There was quite a lot of rain. It was just a bit of a weird week again. So I still haven't. I've dipped into one of my kind of cozy, comforting perfumes this week. But apart from that, it's still pretty much been same old, same old. There's a couple of summer ones in here as well. But I want to start with something that is new. I haven't given it a full wear test yet. I have tried it on my skin, obviously, but I haven't worn it for a whole day. Just because I can't find much about this in the English language on YouTube, and it's an absolute cheapie. So, this is my first ever Antonio Banderas perfume, and it's called The Icon for women. Quite a cool box, as you can see. And this is also vegan, 94% natural ingredients, it's recycled packaging. So just overall, I thought, well, look, I'm going to show you the bottle and you'll know exactly why I wanted to try it. Because, honestly, look at this. This bottle is so cool. I love it. It's got like a weird circus top style thingy. Lid. I have to position it so you can actually see it, but I think it's a beautiful bottle. I really like it. So I saw on Fragrantica, I saw a little thing about this being his new perfume, a little article, and then I just couldn't stop looking at the bottle, and so I went and had a look at the reviews last week, and then I found it for I think it was like $15.99 or something for a 100ml bottle on luxperfumes.co.uk. So I think generally Antonio Banderas perfumes are super cheap, and they tend to be inspired by famous and popular perfumes from what I can tell. I don't think there's a lot of kind of original ones, maybe some of the earlier ones. But nowadays it does seem that there'll be maybe a Black Opium or like a Good Girl, or, that kind of stuff. So bless him, he's making affordable perfumes for the world in general. But I've never tried one before because it's never been anything that I've been particularly interested in. This one is definitely inspired by Libre, by YSL. So notes here are top notes of pear, bergamot, tangerine and blackcurrant. Middle notes of lavender, orange blossom, freesia, jasmine and rose. Base notes tonka bean, vanilla, musk and sandalwood. So obviously, you can tell from that it's very much a Libre. Now, Libre for me is a profile that I kind of enjoy, but they are all way too strong for me. Like, the Platine one is the only one that is pretty much a skin scent the whole way through, but on card, that one lasted forever because I found that card in my bag after about 2 weeks, and I could still very clearly smell the Libre profile on it. The thing is, though, even the EDT, they last forever, which obviously is very good for an expensive perfume. You want it to last, right? But I don't really like perfumes that last too long. If they're quite a strong profile, they can make me feel a bit queasy. So I have the La Rive dupe of the original Libre. And that one I quite like. This one has a slightly different vibe, and I'm wondering whether I might prefer this one, but let me just have a sniff. So the only issue I have with this one is I think it has that very woody jasmine in it that I'm not particularly fond of. So I don't know whether, because the first day I got this, I couldn't smell that so much, and now I can smell it much more. But the way that the votes are for this particular perfume, a lavender at the top, followed by orange blossom, then tonka bean, then vanilla, then pear and freesia. So the jasmine's voted quite low down, but I feel like I can definitely smell jasmine. However, what I can also get in this one is far less soapiness and quite a lot of pear. So it's like a less soapy and fruitier version of that kind of classic Libre profile. And I think this one might be really popular with people. I think it's a really nice interpretation of that scent. I think it's kind of easier to wear. I think it's maybe slightly more youthful because it's less soapy and less pungent, almost less perfumey, because that pear comes through. So yeah, I I really love this bottle. Whether this is one I'm going to actually enjoy wearing properly, I don't know yet, because I'm trying to work out whether it is that woody jasmine or whether this has that fixative in it that has just a slight hint of tar, you know, to me. I was told the name and I knew I would forget it, but Veramos, that's what it's called. So I don't know whether it has that in it. It's a bargain. It's a bargain. So yeah, I absolutely love the bottle. The scent I think is actually rather nice, and I think if you like a good bargainist perfume and you want an alternative to Libre that's not so strong and long lasting and much cheaper, then that might be quite a good option. It's so pretty. I love that bottle. Okay. So this one I think I wore this on maybe the rainy day when I just wanted something cozy and comforting. This is my Obsession Night. I love this perfume. It's absolutely delicious. It is just so comfy and cozy, and I'm very happy to see a couple more YouTubers talking about this one, because I got this, when did I get this? Was it last year? I feel like I got it in winter. So it was either very early this year or late last year that I got this one, and I just absolutely love it. I just think it's so comforting and lush. So I think I've seen both heart notes, and I know my beloved Ruth Ann has got through. I think she's got through a whole bottle of this one already. It is so wonderful. I just find it so comforting and cozy, and it's also incredibly affordable. I really love the bottle. So this has quite a lot of notes because I think it's a slightly older perfume. I don't know that they produce it anymore, but it does still seem to be quite easy to get hold of. So the notes here, top notes, white flowers, bitter orange, angelica. Those for me are some of the main things that are going on here. So bergamot, mandarin orange, and then middle notes, gardenia, jasmine, lily of the valley and rose. Base notes, cashmere wood, vanilla, sandalwood, tonka bean and amber. It's got really beautiful warmth and cozy, comforting feel from those base notes. You definitely get lots of it's a really nice mixture as well of tonka and vanilla. It does have that, it gives it what I like to think of as like a slightly custardy vanilla. So it's not a perfumey vanilla in that way, it's just like smooth and creamy, and I think that's the tonka mixing with that vanilla. There's quite a lot of cashmere wood, but it's beautifully done in this. It doesn't smell pencil shaving at all. It actually smells like a proper smooth, beautiful wood. Like I said, it kind of smells like a comfy sweater. But I get it, white flowers is voted as being the top note, but I get a lot of angelica. So I've got a few perfumes with angelica. And if any of you know Kaleidoscope by Karl Lagerfeld, that one also is a very strong in angelica, and that they have a very similar angelica note, very, very recognisable in both of them. So I just love this. It's got a lovely sandalwood. The bitter orange is really pretty. It's just gorgeous. And even my husband told me I smelled nice wearing this, and he's never commented on this before, even when my friend Fern kept hugging me and saying, "You smell so good." Beautiful. Really love it. Absolutely love that. So I also wore my Acqua, Colonia, Goji and Cactus extract. This is just such a lovely perfume. I've worn this so much and I've hardly got a dent, because this is one of the strongest, possibly, I think this might be my strongest and longest lasting. It's like, it smells thicker than any of the other Acqua Colonias. It's sweeter, it's more syrupy. So despite it being just called Goji and Cactus, there's definitely vanilla in this. There's definitely other things in this. It has a hint of the, I know it sounds mad, but a hint of the black opium profile. It has just like a whisper of that kind of profile, but it doesn't actually smell like black opium, if that makes sense. It is sweet and syrupy and beautiful. I absolutely love this perfume. I wish that they would tell us what the other notes are, because although I can tell you definitely there's vanilla in it, I'm not really sure what else is in there, but I feel like there's probably some kind of musk. Like I said, it lasts way longer. It's very, very sweet. It's very fruity. It's just scrumptious. And again, quite a recognisable Goji note, because it's got that same goji berry note that you get in both of the Prerogatives from Britney Spears. And this one in particular smells like Prerogative Ego, the one in the white bottle. So I love that perfume, and I wear this in the warmer weather, and then I wear Ego in the colder weather, because Ego is thicker, sweeter, stronger, more creamy than this, but it's a very similar kind of scent. So love that one. Wore this pretty little number at the weekend. Very, very nice. This is just going to make sure these are actually in focus. I think they are, but there we go. So this is Kim Kardashian Pure Honey. This, although it's called honey, it's definitely quite floral. It's definitely, it does have honey in it, but I think it's so floral that I think it's more floral than it is honey, to me anyway. I also think that it has a really nice kind of caramelly smell to this, and I think that's something to do with the fact it's got coconut and beeswax in it, and somehow that's just coming across to me in the deep dry down like a caramel. So the notes here are top notes of freesia, mandarin, blossom and red rose, middle notes of beeswax, honey, honeysuckle and orchid, base notes coconut, vanilla and musk. And it's really pretty. I wore this at the weekend when it was still quite warm, because although everything about this kind of screams autumn to me, I like wearing it better in warm weather. I think it smells better when it's warm. This is one of those sweet perfumes that I actually quite like in summer. So I thought I'd break it out and wear it again when it was warm. I know that Sarah May says that this one lasts for ages on her, but this does not last ages on me. It doesn't really last a particularly long time on my skin or clothes, so I have to reapply this one quite a lot. But I'm not sure if I just go anosmic to it. I'm not quite sure. Or whether maybe I just have a newer bottle and it's not as strong. I don't know. Because I've had this one for maybe a couple of years now. So it hasn't particularly got any stronger, but I definitely like it more than I did when I first got it. But I think that's just my nose changing. But I think it's a gorgeous bargain. You can still get this in the UK. If you search Google for it, you can still get it for like 20 quid for this massive bottle. And it's just lovely. And yes, it is a bit annoying to spray it, but it's still absolutely gorgeous. Love that one. Definitely worth having in a collection if you like honey and you like, well, more like honeysuckle, mandarin blossom kind of smell. So this is Mambo by Liz Claiborne. This is, if you watch the video I did with my husband, this was one of his favourites. It was in his top 5. It didn't make it into the top 3. It was knocked out by Guest Air, but it was in his top 5. And it was interesting because both when he smelt Libre, when we were doing our first video, he said that he kind of recognised that scent. And I said, oh, well, I have a perfume that actually smells a little bit like Libre, and I was talking about this one, like a fruitier version, because it definitely has the same vanilla, orange blossom, ginger, like from the Le Parfum one that we were sniffing. But in the one where he smelt this, he said, I feel like I've smelt this on you a lot. Do you wear this a lot? And I was like, no, I definitely don't wear it a lot. I've worked out why he recognises this particular scent, and it is because, genuinely, our current hand soap, I have hand soaps from, I think it's called Millie and Sissy, where you just get the powder and then you add it and you mix it up yourself. So it's like an eco-friendly packaging where you just mix it. So you don't have to get a load of water, which is what half of the soap is, travelling in a big plastic bottle. So I make them basically. And the one that we've got at the moment, and we have had for ages because they're big bottles. The one we've got in our bathroom is mandarin and white flowers, and it's particularly orange blossom, so it smells so similar to this, and I'd wash my hands. I just guess I don't really think about it anymore, you just use the soap that you're using. And then after we did this, I washed my hands and I smelt them, and I was like, well, it actually smells a lot like Mambo. It really does. It's got some very, very similar notes going on. It's the same kind of level of sweetness as well. And like, obviously, this is something, as it smells a bit like Libre, it smells really soapy. So Mambo is mango, mandarin orange and ylang ylang in the top. The middle notes are orange blossom, ginger and hibiscus. The base notes are sandalwood, musk and vanilla. And it is very soapy. It smells like, he thinks it's really orangey. I get more mango than this in this. I think it's definitely mandarin, mango, a lot of orange blossom and a decent bit of ginger with some lovely vanilla in the base. And orange blossom to me always smells soapy. Like, I don't think I've ever had a predominantly orange blossom scent that I don't think smells like a bar soap or a shampoo. Happily, this one smells like, not like a kind of shampoo-y soap. It definitely smells more like a bar soap. And because that hand wash we've got is quite a gentle, kind of natural one, that doesn't smell shampoo-y. It's got like a really soft, you'd almost think you'd use a bar soap. So this lasted in the kind of not hot, not cold weather. Mambo lasted ages. Like, I wasn't really thinking too much about it, but then when I was thinking about putting something on later, like changing my perfume, I could still smell this. So I was like, oh, I'll just put this back on, because it lasted forever. It wasn't strong, and it's not a strong perfume really, but I think it's a really good value perfume. I think it's lovely. So then we have... Let me just find the notes. They don't really give you many notes for this. I wore this and I loved wearing it. To be honest, I mean, this is Philosophy Unconditional Love. I also, at the weekend, again, wore Falling in Love, because I think I've completely fallen in love with that perfume. But I didn't want to talk about it again, because I think I've talked about it for 2 weeks in a row. So that one is blackberry. It's basically a delicious, beautiful blackberry musk. This one is like a beautiful raspberry musk, and it smells very similar. It's almost like, if you can imagine, they have exactly the same base, and one has a kind of quite a natural smelling lovely blackberry, and this has a natural smelling tart raspberry. So it still has that kind of base sweetness, but it's got a much brighter, zingier, more acidic top note, and it's that top note lasts the whole time and is absolutely lovely. I wore this to work and I absolutely loved every minute of it. I am a raspberry perfume kind of girl though. Like, that is my jam. I do like berries. Like I say, I struggle with strawberry, but normally I really like berries in perfumes. All of my signature scents have had blackcurrant in, but almost all of them have also had raspberry in. And for some of them, raspberry has been the top note. And this, for me, has the same raspberry as some of my absolute favourite perfumes that have ever been made. I really like this. I think it's delicious. I think the blackberry one, so Falling in Love, firstly, it's easier to get. So I think it's a safer bet than this. That one, I think, is easier to wear because it's not quite as tart. So, but I'm used to wearing like a slightly tart raspberry because I love it. I love that smell. So I love this one. I think I love them both equally. It's just that the other one is much easier to wear. Now, I have to say, these do not last very long on skin, but they are eternal on clothing. Honestly, I can still smell both of these philosophies. I wore this one to work, and so when I went in the next day, I had I think maybe that was when I had Mambo on, a totally different perfume, but when I put my lanyard on around my neck, it just smelled like this, like, and it still smells like that. It's so strong. So the philosophy ones don't last very long on skin, or at least I maybe just don't realise. But if I get them anywhere in my hair and if they're on my clothes, then I will smell like whatever it is I'm wearing. Absolutely delicious. So then we've got, in this, top note raspberry, middle note white lily, base note vanilla and cashmerian. But this is definitely musky. It definitely smells a lot like the Falling in Love. It's lush. Love it. I also wore, so the last thing this week is Ralph Love by Ralph Lauren. So this has been in and out of my thoughts on decluttering for so long, but every time I've worn it, I'm like, when it dries down, it's so pretty. And this time I didn't feel any different. I was like, when you first spray it, it smells exactly like the original Ralph, because it definitely is the original Ralph. But it then has an additional note in the top of red apple, in the middle of pink rose, and the base notes of cotton candy. And the original Ralph, even though I do think the original Ralph smells really appley, it smells like a kind of mandarin apple floral shampoo perfume is what I'm trying to say. So this one, when I first spray it, I'm like, it's so similar to Ralph. It's really shampooey, I'm not sure. And then it dries down and I get a bit more of the red apple, rose and cotton candy. So it sweetens up a bit. And I think it's beautiful, really like it. But then when I was wearing it this time, what I kept thinking to myself is, this is pretty, but I don't like it as much as I like the Key by Justin Bieber, which is my other kind of fruity, slightly shampooey perfume. And then I just started thinking to myself, well, if I'm actually thinking that while I'm wearing this, that I prefer the Key, then I should just wear the Key. And maybe I should pass this one on because this was a limited edition. So it's not particularly easy to find. And I'm sure that there's some people who just really particularly like this version of Ralph. So I think we'll see. You might see this in a declutter. We'll see whether I might just pass this on because I just love the Key. And if I'm wearing a shampooey perfume, which is something that generally I don't particularly enjoy, then I'm going to want to wear the Key most of the time because I think that's a fantastic perfume. Like, it's so good. So, yeah, we'll see what happens with this one. But I did enjoy wearing it. I do think it's really pretty. Okay. So now, guys, if you are not interested in listening to stuff that I've tested or smelt in store, then I will bid you adieu. But I'm going to speak to everyone else who wants to stick around. I've got loads here. So I'm just going to start with the two I made shorts about. So Scarlet Poppy by Jo Malone, I'm going to have to try and find, because this is quite expensive. It's not very strong, doesn't last very long. So I'm going to try and find maybe a dupe or something that smells similar to this, and I will report back to you because it's so comforting and pretty. So I'm going to read you my notes about this one. So this is what I wrote. I said, Jo Malone's Scarlet Poppy is delightful. It genuinely smells like Mr. Kipling Cherry Bakewell tarts in the opening. It develops a more tart, fruity vibe after a few minutes, but essentially it smells like an almondy gourmand and it's genuinely lush. It smells like fruity jam and frangipan paste without too much else to interfere. Kind of feels similar to Hypnotic Poison if you took out the medicinal root beer accord and the jasmine. So I can understand why so many YouTubers who like Hypnotic Poison would fall for this one as well. But I don't like the notes, those notes I mentioned in Hypnotic Poison. So this one is dreamy to me. Of course, it's also expensive. I'm going to have to try and keep my eyes peeled for similar scents or a good dupe because as with most Jo Malones, it doesn't last very long. So that's what I wrote about Scarlet Poppy. But it is beautiful. I also found out that Aldi do a lot of dupes for Jo Malone, and they've got one called Barley and Poppy, I think, which is a different perfume, but I managed to get that, so that's on its way to me. You can get them actually at Aldi online. If you're going to do like a booze order or a home order, then you can do it there, but obviously normally you have to go in. But you can also get them on eBay really easily, and you can get them weirdly on amazon.co.uk. They're called the Hotel Collection, and those are the Jo Malone ones, and they're pretty much named. There's like a myrrh and tonka one. It's probably called tonka with myrrh or something, but anyway, so I'll report back about that. And then Devotion. So Devotion by Dolce and Gabanna. Now, no. So someone commented on my little short and said, this smells just like Bake, and they're both made from Acqua, and they're both made by Olivier Cresp. And I was like, well, that explains it, because Olivier Cresp, as far as I can tell, uses a huge amount of like aroma chemicals now to make perfume, and they just smell chemically to me. They just don't smell good, and this one doesn't smell good. Bake smells like Lemsip to me. This one doesn't smell quite as bad, but I still can't get that sweetness. So there must be some kind of aroma chemical that's supposed to smell creamy and vanilla-y that I just literally cannot smell. So I just get a very tiny hint of sweet vanilla, like just as if, you know, like one drop of vanilla essence, like in a whole cake kind of situation. And then the lemon just smells chemically and gross. So I said it goes through like a stage of smelling kind of masculine to me, and I think that's the bitterness. And generally, to be honest, I don't particularly like D&G fragrances, so I don't know. But yeah, so this is just no. This is just such a no, 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 no. And then I wanted to smell some other things that I haven't smelled for ages. So let's see. Let's see if I can still smell them. Oh, I can still smell. Weird. I can't smell the EDP of Insolence from Guerlain anymore. There you go. But I can still smell the EDT of Insolence. And I'll tell you what, these made my room smell this whole week. Like I could smell them the whole week. So Insolence, it's just a perfume I haven't smelled for a long time. Someone recommended it to me absolutely years ago when Penhaligon's just got rid of their Violetta, and someone said to me, "Oh, if you're looking for a nice violet perfume, go and try Insolence." So I went into I think it might have been Debenhams at the time before that closed down on Oxford Street. And the lady sprayed it on my arm, and then I was like, whoa, because it was so strong. So I walked out, and I like the whole way home, I was like, geez, no, woof, okay, that's way too strong, way too sweet, really cloying. So I thought I'm going to go and smell this because that's back when it was in a different bottle. Now these are the ones in the modern bottles, the kind of classic. I don't even know what the shapes are, but most of the old Guerlain perfumes are now in that kind of shape. Not a B bottle. These are the other ones, the clear ones that you get like Mitsuko and stuff in. So this was, I'm going to have to read my notes because I was confused. So let's start with the EDP. So I said, why does this remind me of Poison? And randomly, it really reminded me of Poison. I don't know why, because I don't think it really shares any of the notes, but weirdly, I started thinking about Poison. It must have been the fruitiness in it. I don't know. Maybe the fruitiness with the strength and the sweetness. Like, I don't know. It says, I said, it's very pretty, smells a touch old-fashioned, but in a rather comforting way. Violety and sweet, but the strawberry is noticeable. I often don't enjoy strawberry in perfumes, but it's nicely done here. Stand by that. This EDP is nowhere near as potent as it used to be. Absolutely true. It did last a really long time though, forever. When it was in the cool spherical bottles, but it's better for that, I think. I feel like in the very deep dry down, I keep thinking of Libre, and I think that's because there is orange blossom in this. I feel like that helps to explain why this is an uncomfortable profile for me, even though I like it at first, because the vanilla and orange blossom really come through later on in the wear. Sweet orange blossom tends to be super sickly to me, and smelling Insolence again, I'm reminded of why I always thought it was cloying. So there you go. That's the EDP. That's how I feel about that one. And then the EDT, which I can still actually smell. Damn, even more longer lasting. It says EDT is sharper and fresher, but still very similar to the EDP. It's deep dry down. Really makes me think of Burberry Brit Rhythm. That one has Orris, Orange Blossom and Tonka. Insolence has Iris, Orange Blossom and Tonka. They both have this super sweet body lotion feel to them. And in the very, very deep dry down, the EDP does a little bit too, but the EDT is a bit tangier. It's definitely possible I'd get a headache from both of these, but I'd like them on other people for sure. Yeah, I definitely think on other people I'd enjoy this. They did really both smell body lotiony, like very sweet, kind of slightly sickly body lotion when they dried down. And I was quite surprised about that. But to be honest, yeah, so they're not for me, but it was really fun to smell them again because I just haven't smelt them in such a long time. And then I went over because I wanted to smell Beautfiul Belle from Estée Lauder, because it has a marzipan note in it. So I've just wanted to smell this one for ages just to know if it has a marzipan note or if it's any good. So my note on this, I really couldn't find the marzipan note over the tuberose suede and ambroxan. It smells a bit old-fashioned in a way, but it's mainly tuberose. And the first thing that sprang to mind was Ralph Lauren Woman. Woman by Ralph Lauren is much nicer though than Beautfiul Belle overall due to the juicy pear in the top notes of that one. But the actual deep dry down is very similar to both of them. They have a very, I mean, I'd say like woody, slightly bitter, woody, jasmine-y. And again, this might just have that, this might just have the kind of tarry smell in it that for some reason my brain doesn't want to remember. Pheromoss. So I can still smell that kind of scent on it, but it's got ambroxan as well. So basically, I didn't really understand this one. I thought the notes looked much more interesting than the actual smell was. So then, while I was there, I thought I might as well smell the original Beautfiul Magnolia. This is one I hear Soaky London talk about a lot, and I kind of see what she means. It's kind of it would be a really good like Mother's Day present for if your mother likes perfume. It would be a disaster for my mother. She does not like perfumes at all. So Beautfiul Magnolia, I said, very pretty at first, sweet and light floral, that's super inoffensive, but I'm not very keen on the dry down as the Magnolia and Lotus take over all the other notes and it gets a bit generic and white florally to me. There's a hint of screechiness and a slight body lotion creaminess. It's relatively pretty, but it's not my style. So yeah, when I first sprayed it, I thought it was really pretty, but the actual dry down, I was like, no. I'm a bit fussy about white flowers, and I think this one is definitely a bit of a classic white flowers. But if you like things like Splendor, that kind of thing, this is going to be magical to you, like totally magical. And then obviously I did the Intense as well while I was there. I can still smell whatever horrible, I think it's patchouli probably, really don't like it. It says Beautfiul Magnolia Intense smells very different. This is iris and violet. There's lots of patchouli and a bit of suede. Again, it's just not my sort of thing. Oh yes, patchouli and suede is what I can smell on here. I just thought there was literally nothing about this one I liked at all. I didn't like it from first spray. Didn't like it in the dry down. Don't like what's left over here. But then I don't like patchouli, and I don't particularly like suede in perfumes either. So again, just not my kind of thing. So yeah, that was my week. I think I did a little vote for which video I should put up next. So I put my little cheapy haul up. Lots of people were talking to me about Cashmere, and yeah, that one definitely, the colder it gets when I smell the bottle, the more I like it. And honestly, I'll update you when I actually give it a full wear test, but it now smells so much like Avon Far Away to me. Like, yeah, I don't quite know what's happened there, because when I first got them, I didn't think that. When I first got Cashmere, I didn't particularly think, I mean, I did suggest Far Away, but like Far Away is an easier version. But weirdly now, to my nose, they're smelling more and more similar. But anyway, I'll update you on all of that. I'm going to put up my declutter this week, and then my Halloween one will be the week after, because I figured my declutter, I'd quite like to get some of that stuff on eBay, the stuff that hasn't already sold. So I'll put it up on Wednesday, and then I will be putting those things up on the weekend afterwards. But I've got a link in my I'll put a link in the actual video. So tell me what you've been wearing. Tell me if you've got any of these. Tell me if you've got any of the other Antonio Banderas ones, because I'm super interested in his perfumes, because like I said, I've never tried one before. But let me just have a sniff of this dry down. Yeah, I don't know if this has got Veramoss in it or whether it's just a really woody jasmine, but I really like the fruity interpretation of Libre. I really, really do. But I don't know whether that kind of slight burnt woody smell, that kind of bitter wood smell, is going to ruin this for me. But yeah, anyway, we'll see, because I didn't really think about that the first time I tried it. So it might just be today it smells funny. But anyway, love that bottle. Had a really nice week. Tell me what you've been wearing. Love you guys. You're awesome. Bye.